Okay, so to apply the symmetry, we have to go up to Retopo, apply symmetry, and we're going to do it to current layer, not to all layers. And the reason we're not doing it to all layers is because our teeth layer should not have symmetry applied to it. So we're going to go to Retopo, apply symmetry to current layer. Now it may look like nothing happened, but that's okay. I'm going to go to fin and apply symmetry to that first, and then I will show you why, and I'll show you how to actually get the final results to show up. Retopo, apply symmetry to current layer. Now, if we turn symmetry off, it may look like half of our mesh just disappears. That's okay. If we change layers, you'll see it comes back. So now these are the actual, and then if I turn on teeth, you'll see this is the actual final topology. Now what I'm going to do here real quick, and I realize I haven't done the proboscis yet, I'm going to do that in a second, but first I'm going to make changes to this. As you can see, the retopology mesh is not lining up with our high resolution mesh, and that is because those two gel sacks are not symmetrical. So it's really easy to fix this. We just need to make sure that we're looking at it at the right angle. And what the right angle means is that basically we are looking, there's a line you can draw between the point itself and where on the mesh you want it to be. We want to move it so that we are looking down that line, because what's going to happen is that if we click and drag with the brush, the vertices are going to snap down to the high resolution mesh if we have auto snap enabled here. Now what's important is that if I drew it from this angle, you can see that they shot down the direction I was looking towards the main body, not onto the gel sack. So I need to make sure I'm looking at it from the appropriate angle. And all you have to do is click. You may need to hold down shift to sort of even it out a bit. Now the brush is pretty good, but in some cases, like right here, I may need to go in and start moving the vertices manually. Now that we've applied symmetry, one thing you're also going to want to keep an eye out for is if you notice anywhere on your mesh where the line that represents an edge, this black line, looks a little bit thicker than it should be, like it does right here at the back of the mouth, that's because those two vertices were not actually properly connected. So you have to make sure that you clean that up. Again, just right click and dragging on a vertex will, and then moving it to a neighboring vertex. If it highlights in red, then that means that it is going to merge when you let go. Same thing like right here. Okay, it's looking good. I'm going to go retopologize the proboscis real quick, and then I will talk about UV unwrapping this. Alright, so now that the retopology is finished and it is just under our proposed triangle count of 4,000, it is now time to UV unwrap this. So to UV unwrap something in 3D-Coat, it's a very simple process. We do so in the retopology room, not the UV room, however counterintuitive that may seem. But we go down here to the UV tab. Now the way that this works is that you mark seams on your model, and then those seams will be cut, sort of like you're trying to unfold a sort of like trying to unfold maybe like a paper model or something. Where would you cut something like this to allow you to best flatten it out? Now when it comes to retopologizing something like this, I'm going to do it in sections. I'm going to hide everything but the main body, and then also hide the everything that we don't need. So we just have this to work with. Oops. I'm going to keep the teeth, the big teeth that is. Okay. So when it comes to UV unwrapping something like this, let's see, what all can I do? Well, I'm probably going to cut off the inside of the mouth first. And the fastest way to do that is actually going to be with the Edge Loops tool, which will let me select entire edge loops at once. This is much faster. Now, as you see there, I got this one shell, and we're going to get a little UV preview over there on the right, showing us what the shells will end up looking like. So as you see, this one is very distorted, it's very red. So when it's red, that means that it's highly distorted and will not translate well to, or textures will not look good on it. This one's a little bit better, but you can see we still have some areas kind of over there on the corners where everything's overlapping, and that's where the teeth are. So we need to make more cuts if we're going to have this flatten out properly. So I can cut these areas. I'll cut off every tooth individually. And then for the teeth themselves, I'll also cut off one seam going along the inside of them. This will give me sort of a triangular unwrapping shape. And then I'm also probably going to cut off this inside portion here past where the gums are. As you see, that shell is unwrapped pretty nicely. And this one's almost there. I think I'm just going to cut it up along the top though. Not completely in half. Just like so. Now, this area right here, you can see that we haven't properly merged those vertices together, so I'll do that real quick with the Points and Faces tool. Now I'll move on. Oh, need to cut those again. And now I can move on to the rest of the body. So I'll cut off starting here at the bone plate. Now if you want to uncut an area, so like right here, I don't want this edge to be cut, I want these two above it to be cut, you can, with the mark seams, hold down Control and click, and that will weld that seam shut. So now we have these two shells. We've got the main body, and then we have the upper anatomy.